It was just a normal day. One of those days where nothing feels out of place. I was running errands, checking things off my to-do list, thinking about what to cook for dinner, work, groceries, laundry, the usual rhythm of life. Nothing felt different. Nothing hinted that everything I knew, everything I trusted, was about to collapse in the blink of an eye. My phone buzzed. Just a random notification, or so I thought. I grabbed it, barely paying attention, probably spam, or a reminder I'd forgotten to delete. But the moment I opened that message, my stomach dropped. Last night was amazing. I still can't believe we finally had the whole night to ourselves. Miss you already. When will you tell her? My entire body froze. My hands, they actually started shaking. For a second, my brain refused to process it. No, this has to be a mistake. A wrong number. A stupid prank. I reread it, over and over, trying to make it make sense. But something felt way too personal, way too real. My heart started pounding, like it was trying to escape my chest. Somewhere deep down, I knew this message wasn't meant for me. It was meant for my husband. I just sat there, staring at the screen like it would magically change. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, but for the life of me, I didn't know what to say. Part of me was still clinging to the tiniest thread of hope. Maybe it's not what it looks like. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe anything but the obvious. But deep inside, there was this knot in my stomach, that kind of gut feeling you don't want to have but can't ignore. My hands were sweating. My mind was spinning in 1,000 directions, trying to grab onto something, anything, that made this make sense. I even laughed. Yeah, this weird, nervous, shaky laugh that came out of nowhere. Because what else do you do when your world starts cracking open, but you're still pretending everything's fine? I kept telling myself, no, there has to be an explanation. There has to be. But as I stared at that message, I realized something. This wasn't some random slip-up. This wasn't a wrong number. It was deliberate. It was meant for someone close, someone who was supposed to be mine. And as that awful realization started sinking in, it felt like the air around me got heavier, like the walls themselves were closing in. I could feel it. Something was about to change forever. I sat there, phone still in my hand, staring at those words like they held the power to rewrite themselves, to undo everything. But they didn't. They just sat there, staring back, mocking me. My heart was pounding so loud it felt like I could hear it echoing in my ears. I kept thinking, no, not him. He wouldn't. He couldn't. Right? But the truth was starting to feel impossible to deny. A million memories started flashing through my mind. Date nights, anniversaries, lazy Sunday mornings in bed, the way he used to look at me. God. Had it all been a lie? Or was there a moment, a turning point, when everything started unraveling and I just didn't see it? My hands were trembling. My breathing felt shallow. I suddenly felt small. Like my entire marriage had turned into this cruel joke I wasn't in on. And yet, even as my whole body felt like it was shutting down, there was this little voice, somewhere deep inside me, quiet, but getting louder. It whispered, "Diana, you need to know. You deserve to know." I didn't realize it then, but that single message, the one meant to break me, was about to become the very thing that would wake me up. I kept staring at my phone, my thumb hovering, almost afraid to touch anything. My head was spinning. There's still a chance this is some misunderstanding, right? I told myself that over and over, like a desperate chant. Maybe it's a prank. Maybe it's someone messing with the wrong number. But deep down, deep down, I could already feel the truth tightening its grip around my chest. Still, I had to ask. I had to know. My fingers felt numb as I typed out the simplest thing I could think of. Who is this? And the second I hit send, I felt my stomach twist. I sat there, waiting, hoping, praying for something, anything, that would make this nightmare go away. But instead, my screen lit up with a reply that hit me like a punch straight to the gut. Very funny. You know exactly who. You better be thinking of an excuse for tonight. I hate pretending. And just like that, every last shred of denial shattered into a million pieces. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't overreacting. I wasn't imagining things. This was real. As real as the pounding in my ears and the sudden suffocating weight crushing my chest. I swear, it felt like the floor had just disappeared beneath me. My hands went ice cold, my body completely numb. But my mind? Oh, my mind was racing, spiraling out of control. No, no, no! This can't be happening. This cannot be my life. But it was. Every word in that message sliced through me like a knife. The kind of pain that doesn't just hurt, it steals the air right out of your lungs. I just sat there, frozen. My eyes glued to the screen, reading that text over and over, each time it sank a little deeper. You better be thinking of an excuse for tonight. I hate pretending. I could feel my heart physically ache. It was like this invisible pressure pushing against my chest, making it almost impossible to breathe. The kind of pain no one prepares you for. And suddenly, everything started replaying in my head. Every late-night meeting, every canceled dinner, every excuse that seemed harmless back then. God, how did I not see it? How did I miss the signs? Or worse, did I ignore them? I felt this wave of humiliation crash over me, like the walls were closing in and I was just drowning. I sat there, clutching my phone like it was the only thing tethering me to reality. But reality was cruel. My marriage, the life I thought I had, was unraveling right in front of me. And the worst part? I wasn't even supposed to know. That message, it wasn't meant for me. It was meant for him, for the man I trusted with everything. I felt this mix of heartbreak and rage and disbelief all tangled up inside me. How long? How long has this been going on behind my back? My hands were shaking, but I couldn't stop scrolling. I kept staring at that message, reading it over and over like some kind of self-inflicted torture. My entire world, the dinners we shared, the vacations, the whispered promises before falling asleep, suddenly felt fake. But somewhere, buried beneath the suffocating pain, something inside me shifted. A tiny spark? Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was survival. But I knew one thing. I needed to know the truth. All of it. No matter how much it hurt. Because right now, the worst thing I could do was look away. I don't even know where the strength came from, but something in me snapped into focus. The shock. The heartbreak. Yeah, it was still there, pounding in my chest. But beneath it, a fire started to burn. I wiped my tears, took a deep breath, and made a decision right then and there. No, not this time. I'm not falling apart. Not yet. I needed answers. Real answers. And if this woman thought she was texting him, then fine. I'd let her. My fingers trembled as I started typing, trying to sound casual, like him. Yeah, last night was incredible. I can't stop thinking about you. My heart was pounding so loud I could barely hear my own thoughts. Was this crazy? Oh, absolutely. But I needed to know. I needed her to spill everything, every dirty little secret, without even realizing who she was really talking to. And just like that, she replied, fast, eager, too eager. She started pouring it out, talking about how it's been so hard sneaking around, how she hates pretending, how she wishes he'd finally tell her. And every word felt like a dagger, because as much as it crushed me, it also started connecting the dots. All those late nights, all those canceled plans, the business trips. God, it was never work. I played along. As sick as it felt, I did. I asked questions, carefully, strategically, pretending like I was him. Remind me, when was the first time we met like this? My hands were sweating. My throat felt dry. But she had no idea. No clue that the person on the other end wasn't her lover, but his wife. His wife. Her answers. They were like little bombs going off one after the other. She named places, dates, little details that made my stomach twist in knots. That weekend in March? Remember? When you said you had that conference? God, I still think about that night. I felt the blood drain from my face. That was the weekend I was home alone, waiting, trusting, and then it got worse. She laughed, in text of course, about how easy it's been to fool me, how he's such a good liar. I actually felt my fingers go numb reading those words. My head was spinning, my hands shaking, but I kept going, screenshot after screenshot, every word, every confession. I was piecing together a timeline of betrayal, one message at a time. With every new message, the truth got heavier, sharper. It wasn't just the dates or the places, it was the little things. The way she described his laugh, the way he'd hold her hand in the car, even the cheap cologne I once thought was a new purchase for work. No, it wasn't for work. It was for her. And realizing that, God, it was like swallowing broken glass. I saved everything. Screenshots, timestamps, every vile little detail. My fingers were moving faster than my brain, like I was on autopilot. I wasn't just some betrayed wife anymore. No. In that moment, I became my own detective. Every lie he ever told me, every excuse. I was stacking them like bricks, building something. Maybe a wall, maybe a case. I wasn't sure yet. But I'll tell you what I did know. The pain was still there, crippling. But something else was starting to push through it. Something stronger. A kind of strength I didn't even know I had. And while the heartbreak was trying to suffocate me, that strength, it was whispering. Hold on, you're not done yet. I don't even know how I managed to pull it off, but I did. I wiped my tears, fixed my makeup, and went on like it was just another normal evening. Dinner to cook, house to tidy, smile to wear, because that's what I'd always done. Right? I kept the house running. I kept everything together. But tonight, something was different. This wasn't about pretending everything was fine. This was about control. The smell of garlic and butter filled the kitchen. Plates clinked. The hum of the oven. It was almost surreal, like I was starring in some twisted play where only I knew the ending. My hands were steady, my face calm, at least on the outside. But inside, my heart was pounding, every muscle tense, waiting, bracing. Just act normal, I whispered to myself. Just act normal. And then, I heard it. The front door. His keys, his footsteps, I swear. It was like everything slowed down. He walked in, just like he always did, casual, smiling, talking about his day. He had no idea, none. He sat down at the table, thanked me for dinner, like he was the perfect husband, like he wasn't carrying the weight of betrayal in his back pocket. Oh. But that weight was about to shift. I sat across from him, watching, studying, every bite he took, every word that came out of his mouth. God. The way he smiled, like nothing was wrong, like he wasn't living two lives. I nodded, played along, asked about his day, and the whole time, my phone was right there, sitting on the table next to me, face down, silent. But it felt like it was burning a hole straight through the wood. I could barely taste my food, my hands. They looked steady, but underneath the table, they were clenched so tight my nails dug into my palms. Not yet, Diana. Not yet. I kept telling myself. Timing was everything. I needed him to be comfortable, completely off guard. Let him think it was just another night, just another dinner with his trusting, oblivious wife. And when the moment felt right, when his guard was fully down, I reached for my phone. I didn't say a word. I just tapped it open, slid it slowly across the table, screen facing him. The thread of messages staring right back at him in glaring, undeniable clarity. His face. Oh, his face. I swear. I will never forget the way the color drained from it. Ever. He just froze. Eyes wide, mouth slightly open. Like his brain couldn't quite catch up with what was happening. I didn't rush him. I didn't need to. I just sat there, watching, letting the silence do what words couldn't. His hands hovered over the phone, trembling as he scrolled through the messages, watching his perfect little double life collapse right there on the dinner table. And before he could even open his mouth, before the lies, the excuses, the pathetic damage control could start, I locked eyes with him. "She sent it to the wrong person," I said, my voice calm, steady, stronger than I ever thought possible. But maybe it wasn't a mistake. Maybe the universe just decided it was time for me to know exactly who you really are. His lips parted, trying to form words, but nothing came out. Just this stunned, pale, guilty silence. And in that moment, something shifted inside me. For the first time in a long, long time. The power wasn't in his hands anymore. It was in mine. And I swear, I could almost feel it. This wave of clarity washing over me. This is the moment everything changes. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't give him the satisfaction of seeing me break. I stood up, walked over to the front door, opened it, and with a voice as steady as steel, I said, "Get out." He blinked, stunned, frozen like a deer in headlights, but I meant every word. Get out. And when he realized I wasn't bluffing, when he saw that look in my eyes, he grabbed his keys and left. The second the door slammed behind him, I locked it. Not just the deadbolt, but every lock on that door. And then I blocked his number, deleted it, gone. For the first time in years, there was silence in that house. But it wasn't the suffocating kind. No. This one felt different. It felt like breathing again. Like peeling off a weight I didn't even realize I'd been carrying. The very next morning, I woke up early. I didn't cry. I didn't lay in bed wondering why. No, I got dressed, put on real clothes, the kind you wear when you mean business, and drove straight to a lawyer's office. It was time to protect myself, my finances, my future. And before he could even think about spinning his little narrative, I was already 10 steps ahead. I wasn't done. Oh no, not even close. After the lawyer, I made a few more stops. Bank, insurance. I closed the gaps, changed passwords, secured everything that was mine. Mine. The more I took control, the more I felt something powerful rising inside me. This version of myself I hadn't seen in years. The one who didn't beg, didn't settle, didn't tolerate lies dressed up as love. And then, it was time for the hard part. Letting people know, family, friends, before the gossip, before the whispers, I owned my story. I told them. Calm, direct. No shame, no sugarcoating. I could see the shock in their eyes, the pity, the anger on my behalf. But you know what? I didn't need pity. I didn't want it. I wasn't the victim here. I was the woman who stood up, looked betrayal dead in the eye, and said, "Not me, not anymore." And as for him, oh, he was scrambling, desperate, trying to call, text, spin his little web of damage control. But guess what? Silence. Nothing. Not a single response. Because the moment I kicked him out, I also kicked out the version of myself that ever thought she needed to hold on to someone who didn't know how to hold on to her. The weeks that followed, they were hard. I won't lie. There were moments when the silence felt deafening, moments when the weight of it all came crashing in. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the sheer disbelief that someone I trusted with my whole heart could do this. But you know what else? There was something else woven into those moments. Freedom. Pure, undeniable freedom. I started focusing on me, really focusing on me. Therapy, self-care, walks in the park with no one questioning where I was, buying flowers for myself. Little things that felt like reclaiming pieces of who I used to be before the lies, before the pretending. I wasn't just healing, I was rebuilding, stronger, smarter, wiser, and for the first time in years, genuinely happier. And now, looking back, I realized that message, that one stupid text meant to hurt me, turned out to be the greatest gift life could have handed me. The universe ripped the blindfold right off my eyes, and every time I think about it, I smile, because the best mistake anyone ever made was texting me.